Hey guys, this is Courtney Gee from FlopTurnRiver. This video is part 1 of 2 talking about a hand where we have ace-jack here in the small blind with around 18 big blinds in our stack. Part 1 will talk about pre-flop action and part 2 will talk about post-flop. In this particular hand, the action actually folds to us here in the small blind. So it's a blind versus blind hand, and let's assume we have no reads on the big blind. It's probably pretty obvious to most of you that the decision is going to be about how much to raise pre-flop, since we can't exactly fold and limping against an unknown is usually a bad idea with ace-jack, since we want to be raising for value. So how much should we raise? One option is to just go all in. We have around 18 big blinds in our stack, and that would be an easy play. However, while it will make you some chips, we're definitely losing some value by jamming because the big blind is almost always going to fold. So we'd rather not do that. We'd rather get some value out of worst hands. And so how much should we raise then? We could min raise, and that's actually what the original hero decided to do in this hand. They raised a little bit under 15,000. While that's a lot better than going all in, I still don't like it as much as perhaps raising a little bit more. I would prefer to raise around 2.5 or 3 times the blind, so around 18,000 to 20,000 chips. There's a few reasons why I might prefer to raise a little bit more. The first reason is that if the big blind were to have a good hand, if they have a hand that they think beats us, it's a lot more appealing for him to go all in against us if we raise bigger. And so we'd like to do whatever we can to induce a jam, and raising more preflop is one way to do that. Another reason to raise more preflop is that we are going to be out of position post-flop, so if he does decide to call, we should raise a little bit more if we're going to be out of position. And then another reason that I can think of to raise more preflop is that it is a lot easier to get it in post-flop if we do end up seeing a flop. I will talk about that, like I said, in the next video, all about post-flop. This is what the flop actually ends up being, and so in the next video I'll talk about why min-raising pre-flop makes it a little bit awkward to play post-flop, and then I'll show you what it looks like if we were to raise a little bit more pre-flop. That's it for pre-flop action in this video. I will leave you with a question, however. Earlier, when we were talking about our options pre-flop, I mentioned that we usually shouldn't be limping against an unknown. However, if we have some reads, this might change. So, in your opinion, against what kind of opponents can we limp? Let me know what you think about in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you in part 2.